Welcome back, City Skylines players and fans, to Capital City. This is Gomer with Gomer Games. Hey, we are back, working on the midpoint of the island here. Last video, we put in some commercial and some little additional parking lot here there, and then we did a kind of a parking structure here with an office building, and the start of an underground parking garage. Some decorative kind of a park area there with a statue or a park structure there, and then a little bit of additional parking. Okay, so today we're going to do, it's going to be kind of a shorter video, but we're going to go over, we're going to put in a little bit of parking, some roads here, to kind of get ready to build this massive area here to fill out the parking and the walkways, the roads, the pathways, everything for these two massive structures here. But first thing we're going to go over, I did mention that I was going to kind of go over one of my other cities. I built an underground parking garage. Kind of like, there is a couple in the workshop where they have a few parking spaces underground, but I actually, before I discovered those, I built a couple using parking garages and procedural objects and stuff like that. I was going to show you how I did it. First thing you need to do is take whatever building or structure that you're going to put over the top of the parking structure, and you need to turn it into a procedural object. You could actually use kind of like props or procedural objects, decals or grass or something like that, if you wanted to do it that way, and then maybe have like a park on top or something like that, or you can do that. But the way I built it with a building and over the top of it. So turn it into a procedural object, and procedural objects, you can scale them, and you can also change the actually build the building itself. Like here, you could use this to scale the object. Like you drop this, increase this to 2 times, and then you have your Z, your X, and your Y, and then you hit one of these buttons, and by hitting those, it doubles the size of the structure. So you can make it whatever scale you need in order to make the parking structure underneath of it. You can do it that way, or sometimes by putting it back to 0.5, obviously it reduces it in half, so it puts it back exactly where it was. There's also a customization where you can go in and move individual walls and parts of the structure to actually move them around, so you can extend the wall over the parking structure or whatever you want to do. They're great to work with, and I've done it on a couple of videos. I was building the hotel over here on the other side of the island, right here. I did some different things with that in order to get the shape I wanted and the hotel casino floor and everything. So let's get to this real fast here. The main reason you need to use a procedural object is this object has to float. All the other buildings are snapped to the ground, whereas procedural objects can just float in the air. They don't need anything supporting them. They're not connected to the ground. The bad thing about it, they become non-functional. So you will have to use the service blocks. The only one I have active right now is the library block. I think that's the only one I have active. But like if you put this block inside a I put this block inside this building starts to act as a library. And I used this I created a huge library on the other side of the city there, and I had to turn it into a procedural object in order to do it, so I had to download that. But there's service blocks for residential, all levels, commercial, both levels, and industry, and then obviously I think there's one for offices too. But I think they have some service ones too. So now you can put them for police stations and fire stations, and I think even garbage and everything now. I think they have service blocks for all of them. So you can look for those on Workshop. So you can use that. So if you wanted to build a commercial building with a parking structure underneath of it, you can use a commercial block and just place it on the road next to the parking structure, and then just move it under the building. And the building, as long as it doesn't, it's within 2 or 3 squares of the road, it still acts as whatever service block you're doing. Okay, so what we're going to do is already have a road underneath here, and have the entry right here, and then I've got another short node here. So you want to have the entry, and then another node of underground, and then have a couple more segments, meant to say segment, another segment of underground, and then have the rest of the segments here. And what you need to do is go ahead and switch it to elevated, and upgrade, and then upgrade these segments to elevated roads. And then once they're elevated, what that does is, oh, I am underground, okay. Figure out why it wasn't coming back to the surface. What that does is it brings the road back to the surface. It won't let you elevate it to the surface road. It'll let you elevate it to, or upgrade it to a surface road. It'll let you upgrade it to an elevated road. And then after you've upgraded it to an elevated road, then you can upgrade it to a surface road once you get back to the surface. And it'll automatically create a tunnel right there. So what I typically do then is I grab the terrain tool, the leveling, and then just pick the same level as the road, and then you want to clear out this area here. Now obviously I'm not going to do it this way on this one because I don't have enough room. I didn't set it up for this, but you could do it this way. And then I think on that particular one, yeah, I think on that particular build, I actually put in a key around all of this, so it was nice and neat. You don't really need to do that if you've got a building covering it, so as long as it's covered up, you don't really need to do that. But then you take a standard parking structure, either one of the, because I think the ones I used were actually these small ones. Where might that be? I'm looking in the wrong spot. I apologize. This is the parking garage I actually used. Just the medium 8 by. I used this one, and I think I placed 3 or 4 of them on both sides. I think it was a total of 8 of them. But the most important thing you need to remember is you need to make sure that you're deep enough that the bottom, like I need to go down another meter or so. So the surface is at the top of the parking garage, so that way the building fits over the top. So you would grab the building, that is a procedural object, and then it would float right over the top of the parking structure. And then if you were playing the game, the cars would come in and out of here, and there would actually be parking underneath there. Now you do need to connect a pedestrian path down there, which is simple enough. That's not too difficult at all, because all you do is connect it up to the inside of the building, and then connect one from the inside of the building to close to the street level, and then they come and go into the building. And then if you connect it correctly into doors and everything, they will actually use the parking structure for the surrounding buildings also. And then obviously you could use realistic parking and that stuff to kind of increase it. But that's how I did it. I'm not sure if there's other ways to do it, but that's how I did it. I think I put 4 of these on both sides, and then I had a huge commercial block over the top of it that was all procedural objects with the commercial service blocks. I think I had a residential in there too, and then I think I had 2 entrances, and cars would come in and out of there. And then if you would move the buildings out of the way, you would see the cars parked in there. It would actually work. And then I'd had a parking or a pedestrian path that would start not sure what happened there. It was a hiccup in my recording program. I apologize. But I'd had a pedestrian path that would start. Like I can't remember if I connected to the road. I don't think I actually connected it to the road. I think I just had it close, but then I just brought it up to the surface level, and then I just moved it down where it connected to it. And then I did the same thing, connected it to a road like that, even though it wasn't actually, the 2 nodes didn't match. The pedestrians will walk over that. And then I had this come inside a building, so that way you didn't see them walk up the hill or anything like that. And then they would walk out of the front of the building. And I had like 2 or 3 of those, I think. But I've since lost that save. I no longer have that. I had to reinstall the game, so I no longer have that game. Yeah, I was quite disappointed. But I think that's if anybody else knows of a way to do that, put it in the comments. I'd like to experiment with other ways. I'm not going to do that on this one, just mainly because I don't have the type of city. Not really building that type of city where it's functioning. It's more aesthetics. Let's see here. There we go. And then obviously to just switch these back to tunnels, not destroy them. Switch them back to tunnels. And there we go. should disappear. Yeah, disappears after a while. And then just level the ground out. Now we're back to where we started. I'll make sure all this is level. Alright. There we go. Now, so now we have that road going underneath there. We have this as a procedural object. We'll go ahead and leave it as a procedural object. It doesn't really matter because it's more, like I said, about the painting the city, so it doesn't really matter. I think there is a stadium service block, so you can actually make it whatever you want it, aquatic or American football or baseball or whatever. So we'll leave that right like that. I think that's a short enough distance that I don't think we need a. I don't think we need a pillar there. I think we're gonna leave that like that. And then see if I can figure out. Yeah, there we go. Maybe just move this over just a little bit, just so it's in the middle of that. It is a little bit of an angle, which I didn't like. There, because I wanted exactly. It's close to a 90 degree. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's close to a 90 degree as possible. And then obviously line that up. This building is a little odd, by the way these feet come down, because it's not symmetrical. I kind of see the plus here, the lines, the white lines is symmetrical, but these feet aren't really symmetrical around the building. They're kind of odd shaped. They're not the same on all sides. So I just used that line to get it centered there. So we'll use that. This building down here, absolutely love this. I honestly think this is one of my favorite stadiums, if not my favorite stadium. I think it might be my favorite stadium in the game. I just love the detail on it. You can go through and you have flower beds through here, and have handicap walk accessories here. Not quite sure what this is, whether it's some sort of like little, I don't know, whether you just kind of go up there and sit, or it's not big enough to have doors or anything. I'm not sure, but I just kind of, I love it. There's that, and then there's stairs all the way around here. There's garage doors here, right there, and then there's another set on down. And then back here, like right here, there is stairs down to the ground level. Yeah, it goes down, and then there's a set of doors here. And then over here, there is a ramp that goes down to the ground level. And then this right here is actually in the real structure itself. This is a pedestrian walkway that connects to this building. It connects to another building. So there's a cutout there for that, so you can use your pedestrian walkway. And by using no controller, you can make this large enough to where the sides of the pedestrian pathway are the same size. And then by using, if we were playing the game, really using it, we use the invisible path, and connect the actual visible walkway to the invisible path right here, and then just kind of create it, make it go into the building or something to that effect, or do something like that. Here we're just going to kind of connect it to another node and then drop it down in, just to make it look good. But if you go on around, there's more stairs. Oh, I apologize. Yeah, these are stairs. Yeah, there are more stairs to doors. I'm not quite sure why they're at that level, but I think that's the real structure. So there's another garage door there. And then over here on the far side, there is an actual, just a standard stairwell that goes into this walkway under this glass awning that starts over here and then wraps 3/4 of the way around the building. Yeah, 2/3 around the building. So yeah, so I love this stadium, so that's the reason why I picked it. So this one here, I like the. Don't particularly like it with the parking spaces out in front and everything. Which you see those before I turned it into a procedural object. There's a segment of road there, and then there's some parking over here, and a little bit of a decal walkway right there. But the procedural objects, converting it to procedural objects, turns that all off, gets rid of all that, so I can decorate it myself. So I think I want to use that. So I think that's that's it. I think we're going to use those two buildings here. So I think what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and continue the roads on around. I don't think we're going to do any parking. I did toy around with doing some, using some different parking assets for this particular area here. I think it's parking lot roads is what they call this. So I did toy around with doing that, but I couldn't get them to basically do what I wanted them to do, and I couldn't get them to look right. So I ended up just scrapping all that, and I'm just going to go back to the standard parking lots that I've been using, because I honestly like these better. You do have to use a plain road in order to get it to look right, because it doesn't really look right if the parking lots are right off the road. You got to have some sort of pavement on there. I guess in reality, this curve really isn't that. I guess you pretend that there's a segment that's not that tall that cars get. There's a clear ramp there. Anytime you connect that plane, there's a clear ramp onto that concrete, so you can get in there. So that's the only downside, is anytime you use that, you have to use that plain road to get in there. But when you're using that other parking lot roads, you have to use this road in order to connect it. It doesn't work well when it connects to these parking lots here. So it's the same thing. But it just doesn't work right with the roads. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and create, I think we're going to leave this right where it's at. I think this is a good spot. It is a little crooked, and I'm kind of deciding whether I want to leave it a little. I don't know if it's actually crooked, or it may just be the shape of the building. Again, this building's not really symmetrical, so it's kind of difficult to see whether it's straight or not. So I think we're just going to leave it where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and build this down. Fine. Grab the 3-lane road. another 5. And I'm thinking I want to go ahead and create a curve here. I'm trying to decide how far out I want to go. Let's create a dirt road off of this road. By doing that, I know that's 90 degrees right there. So doing that way I can definitely get the 3-lane road here parallel to the avenue and parallel to that side road there. So trying to decide where I want this. I'm thinking this main stairwell here. Real life, I don't know if that's the main one or not, but it's the largest one, so I assume that's kind of like the main entrance type thing. So I want to try to get that road to line up with that main entrance as best I can. So I'm thinking I'm going to put this right here. Maybe have it come out. Let's go like 12 units. 13 units. Didn't really mean to go 13, but I'll do 13. We'll switch to the curve tool and see how that looks. Looks pretty good. No objections there. Have to move that landscape a little bit, but that's okay. We'll get that taken care of. So we're going to go ahead and bring the secondary road. I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave it right on top of this. Bring it out to this node there. These two nodes, I should be able to angle the curve should be pretty close to the same. Because this is I use this node here, and then I use these two nodes here matched. So that should be pretty close to the same. They're off a little bit, but not that much. But they are they're pretty close. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and dirt road there. So I'm thinking we're going to continue this road down. Let's go 15. Actually, I think I went too far on that, but that's okay. Kind of toying around with different ways of doing this. Lane road down there, and then we can run the parking off of this. So let's go ahead and bring a 3-way intersection right here. And then we're going to have a road come this direction. And then we're going to have a road that's going to come straight 90 degrees. I think I want to use a 2-lane road for this one. Yes, I think that's what we're. Alright. And then go back to this road here. Connect right there. I think that works perfectly. And then we'll put in parking through here. And then we're going to have another entrance to the underground parking maybe over here. And then maybe out this direction too. So there'll be 3 underground parking entrances. And then obviously there'll be above ground parking also. So we'll build some parking lots in here, this area through here. I did toy around with maybe moving this building all the way over to where there's maybe just a single road, like an access road or a service road going over here and then wrapping around this direction. And then making all of this parking all the way over. But kind of the reason why I bent the road like this is to put this particular stadium in that space. There's several stadiums I've seen on Google Earth that where the roads wrap around them like that. I think that I kind of like that. I like that look. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we'll go ahead and I think we're going to leave. Yeah, we'll leave that one there, that road. So then we'll grab some parking structures here. And I think we're going to grab the 2020 one, which is the largest one. Now let's go ahead and do. Now let's do this and see what happens. And then we'll do. Oh, I thought I had some of these that come off the edge. I guess not. So we could probably use. These don't match though. See what the left one. Yeah, they're not the same distance. Although that doesn't really look that bad though, because if you did that. Oh, no. What was I doing? Alright, I did that and then put this in. looks pretty good. And then this extra stall here could be the actual driveway around this entire area here. And then we'll do the same thing over here on this other side. We'll grab the right although that's a huge distance there. But we'll just have, maybe we'll just do 2 layers. 2 little squares or tiles of grass instead of 1. Which is absolutely possible. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll go through and decide, well, I have some plans for this road. I think I may pull this back a little bit, and then we're going to do some more parking on this side. But this particular road needs to be at a certain location, because I was planning on doing something out of here. Yeah, well, we're at 40 minutes for this one. This is supposed to be a shorter video, so we're gonna kind of leave it off, leave it there for right now, and come back to it. But hit that like button if you have any comments or suggestions for the videos or for future videos. Let me know. Any other, I'm really curious if anybody has done any underground parking in any other action than that, other than there are a few assets on the workshop that has where you just click it in, and I think I have one, yeah, right here actually. This is an underground parking garage here, and click on the parking, and as you can see, there's but basically all it is, it's underground surface roads that have street parking. So there's not actually stalls or anything in there. It's just street parking all the way along there. But there's still quite a few cars that you can fit in there. That works pretty good. But by doing procedural objects and doing at the beginning of the video what I was doing, you'd have actual parking garages, and you could do literally dozens of stalls underground. Depending on the size of the buildings, you can go bigger than that. Because if you use the larger parking garages, like the ones over here, these parking garages here, you use these big ones here, you'd have literally hundreds of parking stalls underground. And then there is, I don't know if I still have that. Yeah, I do. There is these raisable parking stalls. You can basically place that, and then click on it, remove it, and it moves up and down. And I've never used it before, but supposedly it works. So the cars will actually park in there. So if you're able to put it onto a procedural object or put it onto an actual building, the cars will actually park in it. And I'm not sure if that's how people build the parking garages, but I found it on the workshop and I thought it was interesting, so I downloaded it just to play with it. I hadn't had a chance to see if the cars will use it, but that's one way you could probably build it, because I assume you could probably go down with that too. place it. Well, yeah, why wouldn't you be able to go down? You'd have to cut, yeah, you can actually go down with that too. But cars would have to actually be able to get down there. So, but yeah, you'd easily be able to do that. But hit that like button, comments if you have any comments or suggestions, and then Gomer's going to appear right here in the middle of the screen. The little astronaut. Just hit that to hit that subscribe button, and then hit the bell icon to get notifications for new videos. And we'll see you next time. This has been Gomer Games. Thank you.